we're getting started. Yay! Okay, so I just want to give you an overview right now of things. And this is behind me. This is an overview, so to speak. So let's get right to it. So you can kind of get an, because this wasn't in any of the videos for this year. It was in a video in 2020, I think it was, either 2020 or late 2019. So what I'd like to start with is this one in the center. Let me see if this might be better. Okay, this one in the center. So basically, yes, this is weight loss, but this is so much more. This is so much more. This is about health, not of the physical body and of the mind. And that's why I brought the work of Byron Katie, because what you'll find is when things start working in here, everything else seems to follow. It's a very real phenomenon. When things start working right here, the body follows. But when things aren't working right here, there are things that push us into doing things that, assuming we know, so assuming we have the knowledge, but things that push us to ignore our knowledge and do things that can cause LG. LG. LG, 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 LG. Not algae, but LG. Leaky gut. Okay, so leaky gut causes so many symptoms. And one of the first things is weight gain. Weight gain. And one of the reasons is because it causes massive systemic inflammation. Okay, now let's think about this. Massive systemic inflammation. What happens then? Cortisol goes up. And what happens when cortisol goes up? Thyroid goes down. Not in your blood work. You have normal levels of thyroid hormone. That's no problem. But what happens is the brain senses an increased cortisol, an increased stress response from inflammation, and puts a halt on the metabolism. The brain says, okay, cells, don't bring in any more thyroid hormone. No, don't, because that will make you work harder. And you know what? You got too much going on right now. Your body's already overworking because of this inflammation. And I need you to work on inflammation, the master says. So I want you to work on mastering this inflammation. So no, we're going to slow down your metabolism. So thyroid levels are normal in the blood, but the cells are not taking up the thyroid hormone. So metabolism goes down. Now other things are happening too, because as we age, our muscle mass, if you're not exercising, muscle mass goes down. And if muscle mass goes down, then thyroid metabolism goes down. The more muscle you have, the more energy, the more ATP, because the ATP is made in the cell. And it's made based on a feedback loop with the brain. The brain says, oh, you got a lot of muscle. I need to make more energy to run that muscle. But if you don't have the muscle, the brain says, oh, you don't have much muscle. I don't need much energy. I don't need much to run you. So it goes down. And as we get older, our muscle goes down if we're not exercising. So that's another thing that happens. And that causes weight gain. So it's not just one thing. Here's the other thing. As our metabolism goes down, we're not changing what we eat. Well, sometimes we do. Sometimes we eat less. And we still don't lose weight because our metabolism went down. But we're talking about LG right now. And this inflammation, this systemic inflammation, can cause immune diseases, arthritis, heart disease, dementia, osteoporosis. Oh, I like that little lady though because it's so classic. You know, as the shoulders start to round over, the stomach starts to come out to counterbalance this. The stomach comes out to change the center of gravity. So you get this rounded back and this rounded front. So posture is super important, but it does cause osteoporosis and immune dysfunction. So we've got all of these different things going on that come later. But in the meantime, what do we get? We get all these symptoms: weight gain, fatigue, rashes, headaches, bloating, constipation, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, heartburn, and then of course, hormone imbalance, which, by the way, we don't need any more of, right? Now, why can leaky gut occur so easily? Well, first, before I tell you that, let's look over here at how we get leaky gut and why it's so easy to get it as we get older. I mean, when we're younger, you can get it. When you're younger, yeah. And I'll tell you, a lot of younger people are being faced with leaky gut than in our generation. When I say our generation, I'm talking about 50-ish. So I'm 62 this year. You know, I think that our group here is probably between the age of 40 and 75. That's a big span, right? Which I love that. But here's why. As we get older, our body doesn't have as much resilience as it had when we were 20, right? Or 30. And because we're exposed to all the things that cause leaky gut. For instance, if you can see this, GMO foods, genetically modified foods, soy, corn, and wheat. Soy, corn, and wheat. All of those are our highest, and cotton, but those are our highest genetically modified crops. Soy, corn, and wheat. So if you're not eating organic soy, organic corn, and organic wheat, you're getting GMO because it's so much cheaper. They grow faster, they grow hardier. They've created, you know, I hate to call it a Frankenstein, but they've created these things to grow better, to fight off infection, viruses. Plants get viruses too, bacteria, parasites, fungi. So these genetically modified seeds and plants are made to fight those things off better. So they make more money. They make bigger crops and they make more money for the farmer. So, which I love farmers, so, you know, what can I say? But GMO foods is a big one. Low fiber. We're supposed to have 25 grams of fiber a day. Who gets 25 grams of fiber a day? I try. I really, really try hard because I'm the constipation queen. So I really do pretty good on this, but it's also because I preach it all the time. So if you're getting 25 grams of fiber or more a day, I'd be shocked if you haven't been working on it, because it's not easy to do by yourself. And I see people all the time. I see ladies, I see you guys all the time. And you know, if you see me, you know, I look at your diet really closely. So I can determine how much fiber you're getting. Toxins, of course, nitrates, sulfates, glyphosate, boy, they all rhyme, right? Additives, food coloring, fertilizers, all these toxins, BPAs, these go in our body. They put an insult on our gut, which I'm going to show you in just a second. They put an insult on our gut and they cause it to get leaky. Food sensitivities, that's what we're going to be working. We're actually going to be working on all of these at the same time. A-do-de-do-do-do. At the same time, we're gonna be so healthy. Ooh. Okay, food sensitivities and nutrient deficiencies. But what we've got in our program is going to help with the nutrient deficiencies. Now, are nutrient deficiencies real in the United States? Holy moly, holy cannoli, yes. So what do we think? 80% population deficient in magnesium? And that's just one of them. Potassium, holy moly. You're supposed to have 4,600 milligrams of potassium a day, and that's just to cover recommended daily allowances, which is my goal. Recommended daily allowance of 4,600. I have to take extra potassium. I know I'm not getting enough potassium, and I eat really well. So nutrient deficiencies are important. Amino acids are often deficient. Essential amino acids are often deficient because women are notoriously less likely to eat enough protein. They often don't. Our bodies actually do well. Many of us do well as vegetarians and vegans. I know I do, and a lot of us do, whereas men with their higher muscle mass tend to want to have more meat. Now, I'm very generalized. I don't like being generalized that much, but in general, that seems to be the case. So amino acids, vitamins and minerals, omega-3s, often a problem. And for some of us in PWM, when we work individually, it's not in the general overview, but L-glutamine is in our clean gut product. But sometimes we need a little more L-glutamine depending on the health of your gut. So with PWM, I know a lot more about you. So I may be recommending L-glutamine. Okay, so, over here. So why does this happen? Why does this leaky gut thing happen so easily? Well, it's interesting. And a lot of people are like, whoa, are you freaking kidding me? You know how the skin is 7 layers thick? It's kind of like one of those things that you learn in high school or junior high. You're like, oh, wow, the skin is 7 layers thick, and they kind of show you that. That's pretty cool. Well, it's the largest organ of the body, and it's used to protect us from the bacteria and the fungus and the candida and the parasites and all the other things that get on our skin, right? And it's our first and foremost biggest defense. We have all of these defenses. Our immune system inside of our blood and in our bone marrow, the immune system inside of our mouth and in our nose, in our lungs, what we breathe in, and in our stomach and in our gut. Lots of immune function in our gut. Well, in our gut though, here's the interesting thing. The skin, 7 layers thick. The gut, 1 layer thick. 1 layer thick. That's it. So when stuff is going down the pike, there's only 1 layer thick of tissue. We call it mucosa, but 1 layer thick between what's going down the pike, what you ate, what got in there, 1 layer thick between it and your blood vessels. Ooh, that's kind of creepy. So when toxins and allergens get through that 1 layer thick mucosa, it's directly applied, reaches every cell in your body, because it's going through the blood, and the blood is continuously pumping with the heart, and it's like 3 seconds that your blood travels through your entire body. If you've ever been put to sleep and they tell you, okay, count down from 10, 10, 9, 8, you don't remember anything after 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 3 seconds. Boop. They put the medicine in. It's already gone through your body, goes through your arm, up into your heart, pumps everywhere, up into your brain, and boop, you're gone, right? Until they decide to wake you up. It's creepy, all right? And I'm a doctor, and I think it's creepy. So it's the same thing. We've got a 1 layer thick situation. Now, what I drew here, you might be saying, well, why does it have these little finger-like projections? Okay, well, a healthy gut has lots of finger-like projections. And those finger-like projections, I wonder if this would work. No, it doesn't. Sorry for my fingers. So these finger-like projections, they have a very important job. And what their job is to absorb nutrients. So if the mucosa was flat, if it was just flat, then it would have a flat surface area. But it's not. It's finger-like. So all along, let's say this is the foundation of your mucosa. And then you've got all these finger-like projections. Then you've got the surface area of each and every finger-like projection. So nutrients can be absorbed in a lot larger footage or square footage, right? So what happens when the gut gets damaged is these finger-like projections get smaller. Now in celiac disease, which is gluten allergy, and we're now seeing that gluten sensitivity has effect as well on the cilia. Not as fast and not as profound, but is having effect on the cilia, the size, length, and amount of your cilia. But what happens is these cilia gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and then it just levels off and there's just the flat surface area. So nutrient deficiencies get increased because there's a lot less surface area to absorb those nutrients that are going down the pike in the food. So digestive processes decrease significantly. So what do? We have to fix the root cause, and basically, just so you know, we increase the good stuff, decrease the bad stuff, support the healing, bam, bam, bam. And how we do that is 4 steps. We plan, and that's our first step. That's what we're going to be doing in the next 2 weeks, right? We plan, then we eliminate, then we challenge, and then we're succeeding. Because after we challenge, we're learning what our body needs, whether we need to back off and give it a little bit more time, or maybe we find out how much is good for us, how much allows us to still feel great, because by the end of 3 weeks, you're going to feel great, right? End of 3 weeks, you've removed a whole bunch of crap. You're going to feel really, really good. So that's the general principle, okay? So how does it go? The general overview, let's see. Do I need to? Nope, that looks good. Okay, the general overview. You know what? I want to take a break. I want to take a break because that's a lot of stuff, right? I want to take a little bit of break, so I have a commercial for you right now. Guess what? I have somebody really special with me I have to introduce, because today, which is the same day I did this video, by the way, somebody came to see me in the office, and I'm so happy because we've been together, how long? Couple years, and she joined personal wellness medicine in January, and so today was her first office visit. So we've been having a really good time. Come here, my darling. Hey! Guess who? This is Jen. This is Jen. So anyway, we've been having a really good time and going over everything and having fun.
Yes.
And here's my baby.
And we got Sweetie down here too. So lots of talking and dogs today for us.
Yes. I even let her breastfeed Inca.
It's true. She didn't like my breast as well as Mommy's.
That's right. That's right. You can tell, right? All right, ladies. Mwah. Love you.
Love you guys.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. All right, was that not cool? All right, I told you I had a commercial. You feel better? Stand up, jump, 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 jump. Stand up, come on, boo, 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 boo. Come on, ladies, get some energy. Woohoo! Okay, you ready? Let's keep going. All right, the general overview is not difficult. So I have it basically in 3 steps. Discover, whoop, action, whoop, success. In the discovery phase, we have 2 weeks, week 1, week 2. That's when we plan. We're also going to be holding our bonus, okay? Because mental mindset, mental mastery, get that, and the body follows, okay? So weeks 1 and 2, we're planning, and we're going to do our bonus session. Then we do 3 weeks. This is action. Whoop. Week 1, 2, 3, 21 days of elimination. And then whee to success with the challenge phase. Weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It may be longer for some, but you know, it usually takes 6 weeks. We're eliminating certain foods in general. So because we're eliminating those foods, we add back either 1 to 2 foods per week, except dairy. We always take a week. Always, sometimes longer. So let's talk about those foods. I'm gonna bring this down just a little bit. Whee! Dairy, soy, PWM. I know I got a couple of vegans, and if you did everything last year with me, I know one of you that we're not gonna eliminate soy. But anyway, in general, dairy, soy, corn, gluten, sugar. Aw, really? Alcohol? Oh, come on, no way. And coffee. Oh my God. You're gonna feel awesome. Dairy, soy, corn, gluten, sugar, alcohol, and coffee. I took eggs off. Some of you will eliminate eggs, and some of you will eliminate other foods. So we do eliminate any food that is problematic for you. So for instance, some of you have difficulty digesting whole vegetables like leafy vegetables, like salads. You feel like gotta poop as soon as you eat it, or an hour later you poop and you got green leaves in the toilet, right? That's called maldigestion. I mean, that's a little bit obvious, right? We don't need somebody to actually tell us that. What we need is for you to have confirmation that that's maldigestion. That is not, if your doctor tells you that's normal, it's not. It means you're not digesting those foods. And it can cause bloating too, by the way. Some of you might have troubles with peppers or onions or whatever. So in addition to these foods, whatever you already know you have trouble with, we eliminate. Now, when we get it to this point, I'll make this a whole lot clearer. But if you're one of those people that just can't eat it raw, but you can eat it if it's cooked, well, we have a solution for that, because there's a reason for that. And I'm going to teach you why that is happening to your body. And bam, it'll be fixed, okay? All you have to do is have the knowledge. Okay, so that's what we eliminate. Now, when we go back and challenge, this is our last little piece. We're almost done, right at 30 minutes. When we go back and challenge, there's going to be a couple of different ways, but this is the primary way. We add back 1 food group every week to every 4 days to every week. So you may, on day 1, add back 3 foods. There's multiple ways we're going to do this. We're going to do it depending on who you are. But day one in our PWM group, but I'll guide you if you've not done one. If you're not in our PWM group, don't worry. I'll guide you the way the standard easiest process is. But you're going to have the benefit, okay, of knowing that there's more than one way to skin a cat when we put back the challenge phase. This is one way. On day one, we add back that first food. Let's say, so for here, it was easy for me to draw eggs. So morning, you would add back a half of an egg. And then the midday, if you didn't have any reaction, you add back 1 to 2 eggs. And then in evening, you have 1.5 to 2 or 3 eggs. Okay, so you're adding more, and then you sit back and listen to your body on day 2 and 3. Sometimes day 4, but in any event, that's one way. Another way is just to have, bam, 2 eggs. You add it back. Then you sit tight. And then day on 2 eggs. Okay, this is more realistic, but this is another way. It's not, the first way I told you was the traditional way. The second one, day 2, bam. You add back 2 eggs. Day 3, bam. You eat another 2 eggs. All along, you're monitoring to see how you feel. If you have any dragged, irritability, tired, bloating, nausea, change in bowels, could be constipation or diarrhea, or anything, increased hot flashes. Okay, that's a big one. More stress, you just feel more stressed, irritable. You back off, you eliminate it. It stays off the elimination until you're done with the challenge portion of this, and then we add it back again. That's why I said this could go on. All right, this could go on. It's fine. The key is learning what's in your body. Okay, so on day 4, so you add back, so day 1, I'm gonna do eggs, 2 eggs. Day 2, 2 eggs. Day 3, 2 eggs. Day 4, nothing. Day 5, nothing. Day 6, nothing. And still nothing, you can add back eggs, okay? So the reason you need more time is you're not challenging your body as much as you were here, okay? So here, you're flooding, you're opening the floodgates. You're saying, okay, come on in, see what you do to me, okay? So you flood it, and then you wait a couple of days and see if anything happened. The second method that most people tend to like, unless it's a food that they really love, like dairy is often the one that people want to just open the floodgates because they like cheese and milk and cottage cheese and yogurt and ice cream and blah, blah, right? But you can't do ice cream because it's got a lot of sugar, real sugar, not just lactose, blah, 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 right? Okay, so that's why we do this together, right? There's a lot here, a lot of cool stuff. So that's one method. And then the second method is like what I said. Okay, those are the 2 easiest methods. So let's say you do it the 4-day method, where you're loading yourself up, you let the floodgates in, and you don't have any problem. Then on day 4, you do your second food. So here I put, coffee, right? Just because it's easy to draw. So you do the same thing. You'll have a half a cup of coffee, then you'll have a whole cup of coffee, and then you'll have 2 cups of coffee, right? If that's your thing. And then you see how you feel. Now, if you have already some kind of indigestion problem, like you have any heartburn at all, you take anything at all for heartburn, I recommend that you not add back coffee. That's why coffee, I hate to tell you this, but coffee is second to the last. We actually add back a little sugar before we add back coffee. Why? Because coffee is a huge irritant. But the other cool thing is because coffee, you actually can't believe how wonderful you feel without coffee. And people almost always substitute coffee for herbal teas. And the strength and benefits of those herbal teas is phenomenal. You can actually see here with cleansers, every single one of these are available in hot tea. So you can get chicory and licorice and ginger and dandelion, turmeric, they're all. And so not only are you feeding your body in the morning with this magnificent healthy thing, you're eliminating coffee, a major irritant. And guess what? I hate to tell you this, it really sucks. But coffee is a heavily pesticide crop, coffee beans. So if you're not drinking organic coffee, you're gonna want to switch to organic coffee. And guess what else? If you're a wine drinker, it's the same thing. So grapes are heavily pesticides. So pesticized, is that a word? I don't even know if that's a word. But anyway, they're heavily pesticized. I made that word up. Pesticized, pesticized. Ooh, I like that word. Okay, so you're gonna get, when you add back, let's say you're a wine drinker and you really wanna go with having a glass of wine. If you're with PWM, you're gonna know that with your DNA, there's a few of us, and I ain't saying who it is, who really shouldn't be drinking much. Excuse me. When it comes to alcohol, because of a particular gene. But that's fine, right? That's why we do our genetic makeup. That's why we look at it and look at our SNPs and see what it is that we need to, overcome, right? Okay, so that's the challenge phase. So we have just reviewed everything on this board behind me, and now you're ready. You are ready to go, and I look forward to working with everybody, and I'm excited that you're here. Mwah. Love you. Bye.